My wife Gail is going to Portugal for 2 weeks to visit our granddaughter there. Well, if she's going to do that, I'm going to fly up to Illinois to see our other granddaughter and our grandson for the weekend. Now, when you're flying VFR in an RV-12, the thing you have to plan for is the weather. So far in 2025, it's mostly been crappy, but look at this. The local forecast, the en route weather, and the destination weather all look the same. I'm looking forward to some smooth sailing as I prepare to head north. I'm going to fly up on Friday and fly back home on Monday. I plan the trip in 2 legs. Leg 1 will go from Jasper, Georgia to the southern tip of Indiana with a fuel stop at French Lick. That should take about 2.5 hours, even with a headwind. And then from there, I'll continue to DuPage County Airport in a 2-hour flight. Total flight time will be 4.5 hours, which is pretty respectable. An essential part of trip prep is to fill the Yeti. I have a ham sandwich, Lorna Doone cookies, and some animal crackers, along with a bottle of water. At the airport, I load my passengers and I put the car in the hangar. The plane is pre-flighted and ready to go. And here is one last look at the weather. Looks pretty nice to me. Climbing out, I level off at 4,500 feet and head out over the mountains. Now, one thing I always do when I fly is I set a trip timer when I take off. And so it is that after 21 minutes of flight, I leave Georgia and I enter into Tennessee, specifically Crandall, Tennessee. Then a little further along, I fly over Decatur, Tennessee, just north of Chattanooga. Still in Tennessee, I encounter this cloud formation. Notice that the clouds are formed in a straight line, which I interpret as being the markings of a front. With a 9-knot headwind, I'm making 109 knots over the ground. And here is some Tennessee scenery. After 1 hour and 20 minutes of flight time, I cross over into Kentucky. "120 knots true airspeed, yielding 112 knots over the ground. 1 hour remaining to reach French Lick. Flying over Summershade, Kentucky, I see this field of yellow or lime green that really stands out. This is rural Kentucky as I pass near Mud Lick, Kentucky. Somebody put this single solitary cloud right in my way. I had to steer around it to stay VFR legal. Then now, here's another case where I came across a line of clouds, possibly indicating a frontal boundary. "30 minutes remaining to French Lick. Oh, look, here's another one of those yellowish fields. And then here's a giant solar farm. "2 hours and 34 minutes, and I'm sitting at the gas pump at French Lick. Nice line guy helped me work the self-service pump to top off my plane. And here's some shots of their terminal building. Back in the air again, I've dialed in the Joliet Vortac, and I've leveled off at 3,500 feet for this leg of the trip. Up ahead, I see a restricted area next to my route of flight. The Navy uses this area for ordnance disposal. Odd that it's so far inland. I alter course a little bit to the right to stay well clear. The area passes by my left wingtip. I fly east of Terre Haute, Indiana, and look at this. I can say I flew my RV-12 to Brazil. 1.5 hours to go to Joliet Vortac. Here I'm flying over a power plant. And now look here at how the landscape is divided into these large square tracts. Now, for the first time this trip, I'm encountering cumulus buildups with corresponding bumpy ride that you get with the thermals. This is just a part of the Midwest wind turbine farms. After landing and shutdown at DuPage County Airport, total trip time 2 hours and 1 minute. Total time since new on the engine, right around 260 hours. And the entire trip was pretty much a straight shot. Now, let me tell you about extended stay hotels. I picked this one because it was just 2 miles from my son's house. This place is a flea bag chain. You get a tiny bar of soap and no shampoo at all. They couldn't afford a welcome mat, so they hung a picture of one. Next time, I'll upgrade to a Motel 6. Did my granddaughter like her Minnie Mouse? Yeah, they were inseparable. She's a sweet kid. Now, remember that nice weather forecast I told you about when we started out? Well, on Saturday, starting in the afternoon and all through the night, was a vicious storm. Lightning, thunder, high winds, and torrents of rain. My little RV-12 was tied down outside on the ramp at DuPage Airport. I was a little worried. The next day, I saw the news reports. The roof was ripped off of an apartment. A condo destroyed by high winds. Trees were down, power was out, and roads were flooded. All of this right around the area where my plane sat. Now I was really worried. I didn't know what to expect when I headed to the airport to return home. Stay tuned to this channel to see what all I had to do once I got to the airport. That'll be coming up in the next episode. Hope to see you then.